Thank you, Eli. I would like to invite our next speaker and panelist, Avi Chesla. אבי אחראי על הובלת האסטרטגיה והחזון הטכנולוגי הכללי של חברת Radware. הוא מזוהה כדמות מובילה בשוק הבטחת הרשתות הבינלאומי. אבי אחראי לתכנון הפתרונות של Radware בתחום הבטחת שרתים ורשתות מפני התקפות קיברנטיות המסכנות את רמת איכות השירות. הוא פרסם מספר רב של מאמרים ופטנטים בנושא. השקפותיו על מגמות וסיכונים ושיטות הגנה מוזכרות במאמרים וועידות בחוגים בינלאומיים, כולל לאחרונה שיטות חדשות להגנה באמצעות Software Defined Networking. ואבי, אני מאמין שאחד הנושאים שיש לך עליו פרספקטיבה מאוד מיוחדת, זה שלא צריך לתת לתוקפים להישאר שם בשקט, אלא צריך ללכת ולרדוף אחריהם גם.
כן, תודה. Hi everybody, I will try to do it short and just add a few new technologies that was not mentioned by Eli in the last presentation, but I will try to start with some simple facts which I'm not sure that everybody is aware of, and Radware has a lot of visibility into attack trends, mainly on the denial of service and distributed denial of service space. We have more than 10,000 customers and more than a few customers that's using our attack mitigation system. We have a few solutions there, including some adaptive algorithms that were mentioned before, in order to be able to really adapt and respond well to dynamic threats. So I will start with some statistics that we have collected in the past 2 to 3 years. And what you can see that is first about attack target trends. It's pretty obvious for us that the main attack vector that was developed and is more significant in the past year is against the financial sector. And I think that a lot of you heard about all the attack campaigns against the financial sector in the US in the past 6 or 7 months, and it was very significant attacks. In terms of general attack trends, this is what you can see, and everybody know about these attacks. Started somewhere in 2010 with the Anonymous on PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, and then moved to government, and then to the financial sector. Almost any stock exchange in the world was under attack, the Hong Kong, the New York Stock Exchange, Toronto Stock Exchange, and so on, and just recently the US Bank. I think that one of the fact that is most significant and maybe dramatic, we can say, in terms of denial of service attack campaigns is represented here. What you can see here that in 2012, and we continue to see this grow, attack duration is being significantly increased, meaning that attacks are not anymore happening for a few seconds, a few minutes, or even a few hours. It takes weeks. Actually, we were involved in some very serious attack campaign against one of the largest banks in the US about a month ago. It was an attack that didn't stop for 5 weeks. This dramatically changed the behavior of the organization, which means it's not just you need to be prepared before, you need to create an emergency response team or war rooms that will be able to resist these attacks very effectively. And this is something or some kind of experience and skills that I'm not sure that many of the organizations and banks and some other security organizations are prepared for. Another angle of the complexity of attack is the diverse application or the multi-vectors of attack. What you see here that according to the statistics that we have collected in 2012, this is the split in terms of attack vectors. Usually they are coming simultaneously against the data center. Of course, web is most significant, and what we have seen recently that encrypted-based attack, SSL-based attack are on the rise, simply because it's bypass most of the denial of service and other firewall very easily. And this is why they are using that, but this is another level of complexity that we see. And this is a summary of what we call complexity level that includes the duration and the diverse and dynamic nature of attack and the number of applications that are being attacked at the same time. So we see that there is a trend that is being increased, especially on the DDoS area, as I mentioned. So just to summarize that and what I already mentioned, I think that the main conclusion here is not strictly technology, but what the lack of experience that we see today in the market is that most of the organization are very skilled in the get-ready part before the attack, which means audits and policies and some investigations, and also on the forensics part, which is the post-attack analysis. Who is attacking us after the attack, what was the malware, analyze that, do all the reverse engineering that is needed in order to prepare to the next attack. But this is not enough. What we see that the skills during the attack, and it's become more significant skill because, as I said, it's not a few minutes attack and it's over. It's a 1 month attack or even 6 or 7 weeks of continuous attack, which create a new requirements for emergency response that really fight. And this is just summarize the requirements or the skills requirement from these emergency response team. And Radware, one of the things that we are doing, we have this ERT that also educate other customers how to build their own teams in order to be able to resist this type of attack. As you see, one of the last point here is that one of the new techniques that this WOM or ERT has is the capability which involved with technology, with some tools that we have developed that can create a counterattack, and I will talk about it in this slide. What you see here is a very general slide, an abstract slide, but the main idea is that once there is an attack, in order to try to not only block it, but also make the attacker after a few days or a few hours, a few days or a few weeks to quit, you need to be able to attack them back or neutralize their resources without that they will be really be able to analyze what you are doing for them, which means that it will not be beneficial for them to continue to attack the same target, and they will try to move to another target. And technology involved here is the capability that in real time to monitor the traffic, to try to search for patterns for known attack tools, or some new tools according to dynamic patterns that we can find, and then analyze if there are some operation limitation in these tools, compute operation limitations or design operation limitations. Once we discover that, we, through the signaling of the communication itself, we try to slow down the tools. So we are trying to do something back to them, what they are trying to do to us. And we were pretty successful, of course, not with all the cases, but with 10-20% of the cases, we were able to create this counterattack, and we saw also in the hacker channels that they decided to quit sometime and move to another target, another bank, another financial organization, and so on. So counterattack, I think this is something that we still miss and need to be developed in terms of next generation technologies. Another one which is completely different is a new networking trend, which we call the software-defined networking. And I think this provides us a new opportunity to have what we call a security-aware network. So this is another technology. I think that if companies or organizations that haven't yet invested in analysis and research of this area should start to do so. And our statement is that SDN application allow us to create new applications that will program the network, not just to just host the firewall and the antivirus and specific services, security services, but allow the network to be part of the service, to use all the network resources to be part of the monitoring tool, to be part of the detection tool, and to be part of the defensive, the protection, the blocking tool. And this is what we are trying to do. This is the last slide that summarizes that, this software-defined networking. So software-defined networking in general decouple the control from the networking forwarding in the network fabric and bring it up as a centralized layer, which we call the controller, the network controller. And the opportunity for us is to create new application on top of this controller, which include also security application. And through this security application, we can now not configure the network, we can actually program the network to change its behavior and to be able to be part of the security framework and not just host that. And there are a lot of advantages associated with that, and we have a few partners that work on that. Thank you very much.